Continue with Clif in just a couple of minutes. Glad you're along tonight. What do you want to touch on next segment?
Boy, I've got a bunch of notes. Do you want to pick up on this weirdness in Norway, or?
Well, that looks like, well, at least the Russians are putting the story out. Maybe they're doing it as a courtesy that it was a MIRVed ICBM that was not stable.
Yeah, but if you trace back that's what they're saying officially, but I've been listening to the sideband radio from Russia. And
okay, good. Hang on. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, and let's get right back to business with Clif High, halfpasthuman.com. $10, The Shape of Things to Come, issue 3 is out now. Go get it. All right, if you look at the top of my homepage, most of you have seen the picture, perhaps there or elsewhere. Norway, a truly bizarre apparition, as it were, in the sky, difficult to describe easily, so take a look at it. The Russians came out today, I guess around 24 hours after the original photographs began to run all over the Internet, and said it was an out-of-control MIRVed ICBM test. Having looked at hundreds, I don't know, of Vandenberg launches in Southern California, when they put them off at, excuse me, twilight or dusk, and the rocket rises, and the upper atmospheric winds push the contrail in strange ways, not quite as exacting as these, and then as it gets up into the upper ionosphere, stratosphere, and then goes into space, it's up into the sun, and it turns into, anyway, you can watch the whole thing. So I could project that on this and understand how it could be. But Cliff is telling me that he's picked up other information, and I am all ears. Please.
Yeah, there's a couple of issues there. First off, I don't believe in meaningless coincidence. So the fact that we have the Copenhagen and then the Nobel Prize stuff and this occurrence all at the same time is a big Okay, then there's the other issue. There's no element of chaos in that image in either the video or in stills or any of it. All the reports are that it was an organized, discrete event. There was no element of chaos. And so the claim that it was a dually punctured rocket that was rotating it just doesn't hold up. Excuse me.
Well, let me say one other thing quickly while you're clearing up there. I've watched, again, so many launches. I have never seen one even close to being that precise in its layout. That is remarkable. So that's quite a scene, and I hope all of you take a look at it. We don't know what it is for sure. The Russians may have just put out a story to do, again, some kind of a public service.
Well, they're actually covering up their other work in that area.
No, I wouldn't be surprised.
The source of this, the island for which the thing was theoretically aimed, is actually the source of one of their woodpecker installations, their harp. And there's these three fellows, an Uzbeki, a Russian, and a German, that have this radio station, and they broadcast probably what we would think of as pirate. And I've been listening to it because I can pick up on the German and some of the Russian. And really what they're describing is that the whole rocket thing is a cover for a demonstration of a destruction of the actual ether by the HARP installation in Russia as a warning or whatever to the people that were attending the military people that are involved in Copenhagen.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Explain to me destruction of the ether for our listeners.
The ether is a concept that dates back to the Greeks, but it's also called the Dirac Sea or the 0 point medium, and it basically the dark energy stuff that you always hear the NASA scientists blathering on about. Doesn't really exist as they think it does. But nonetheless, it is the point from which continuous creation and matter appears, if you follow hyperdimensional physics and torsion physics and all of that. Anyway, the statement from the Russian, who's a very knowledgeable scientist on there, you can tell just from listening to him, is that the whole point of this was not the spiral or the interesting little blue effect or the glowing anything. It was that black hole that seemed to open up there and expand. And it was an actual demonstration that you can send missiles at us or do anything you want. And look, we can actually destroy the place at which matter is created.
Wow.
And they created a gravitational hole there. There's reports out of Finland that there was a large dip in the gravitational wave or of of their sensors that was the equivalent of 10 or 20 airplanes while this was going on. And apparently they have these sensors all over the planet that would literally pick up a large airplane flying over you and the distortion it makes in local gravity.
Huh.
And so the Russian was citing the stuff from the Finns about what was going on. They thought all their instruments were breaking, and they were unaware of what was actually occurring.
Huh.
But
Wow.
the after effect or the blowback from this was being overshot them, and it distorted local gravity.
Well,
Now,
I've never seen a rocket leave a trail like this anywhere near it. Not
yeah,
close.
with that blue light going back to the HARP installation, it's kind of like a.
And if you look back down to in the picture to the ground, there is obviously a white luminescence at the base of it. I don't know what that's
Correct.
about.
That would be the focal point or the lens for the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is very interesting. Very interesting. So it might have been a calling card to somebody or some group of bodies. Don't mess.
Or a demonstration of a certain level of knowledge, certainly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, these are the kinds of things that are fascinating. And if you hear anything else about that, I'd like to know, because when they put the rocket story out, I posted it, but I've seen too many. It just didn't work.
It was too pat. Yeah.
Didn't work for me.
It didn't pass the smell test right away.
No.
And then I started listening to some of these other sources. There's a lot of Ruski podcasty out there, and these guys are making nice little podcasts and discussing all the things that are going on in their version of the world. Much of which does not, of course, reconcile with ours.
Fortunately, or otherwise. Very interesting. Okay, we've got a holiday season coming up, so-called. I'm not seeing happy faces out there. Do we see anything coming early in 2010, after the holidays, when people are they're tapped out now, and they're going to, of course, you got to spend to be happy. So what happens in early 2010? Any other things that in the data?
Yeah, we do have the potential for a bank shutdown.
That still
We've had
exists.
that since September, but the language is pointing for it after the context change, which again we note has moved up to the 19th. The bank shutdown.
What time on the 19th again, please? I want to write this down.
5:51 a.m. Pacific Coast time. I localize everything, so you can do a UTC if you want. I'm not sure what the context change will be. It may indeed be economic, but it might be triggered by something like, a successful and or failed terror attack, for all I know. But it's a huge emotional hit that will trail off probably by July, because we'll have other issues by then.
Wow. Wait a minute now. You're going to roll us from December 19th all the way to July?
Yeah, but if we go back to let's everybody be real clear so I don't get a bunch of, oh, you blew it kind of thing mail. If we go back to the immigration issue, we had that big flare-up in the spring that trailed off by the fall.
It's true. You're right.
So you have to look at these things in the way we do with emotional waves. Yeah,
right,
whatever it is, it's going to change the context then. It's going to be quite severe and will go with us until July. But hey, people, wait until November of 2010 and then early part of 2011, because we've got tipping points ahead of us.
Now, this is what Gerald said. Terror attack, another 9/11 in 2010.
It may be war. I don't know if they'll go to the 9/11 level. Yeah, I mean.
Well, they won't have to if it's a Mideast war extending all over the place, a major regional war.
Okay, here's the problem. The Mideast war stuff we have, the archetype for war also extends out to the point where there's enough data to kind of support the idea that a mindset will shift in the part of people that could be our opponents, where they are not inclined to come and really screw with us for a lot of different reasons. They may just, as a result of the Israeli mistake, think that things have gone too far, and while they're quite happy to slowly cripple the American military that's been causing all these problems for all these years at the behest of all these nut jobs, they may have to do something relatively rapidly. And so there's what's been called the three-ship scenario. And the three-ship scenario, as I understand it, is that there would be two ships off of probably the west coast of the U.S. and then one ship off of the east coast. And I don't know if they'd be Russian or Chinese. It just does not matter. And it wouldn't involve nuclear or anything like that. It would involve a rolling wave of electricity at certain hertz that would basically just kind of like take out all life. And it goes with the rotation of the planet. It works at a scalar level. and it is truly like an ultrasound wave, and it's a near physical thing. And the hertz level is such that you're just walking along and your brain shorts out. Whether you're a bird or a human or an earthworm, it doesn't matter.
Permanently?
I'm sorry?
Permanently?
Oh, yeah, They're quite dead, no question about it.
So they're erasing the blackboard.
Correct. But it's not anything you really want to do. It's not like a neutron bomb where you could potentially come in and farm in a few years, because it theoretically kills all the life in terms of bacteria and all this kind of stuff.
No, the whole food chain goes, yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite horrific, and it screws with the weather and so on. But I've actually seen a discussion online and tracked down some hard copy among some Russians and I believe a representative of the Chinese, although that was never really clear. But a discussion as to whether that would be preferable to a nuclear attack on the U.S. And because if we go crazy and start this problem going off in their southern border, causing issues for them, they have to have a response. They're really irritated with all the depleted uranium as it is now that's getting into their water supplies and all their systems. And it's causing issues all over. So I don't know what the trigger would be, but our data really does show that the Israeli mistake has a potential to engage us all in the Third World War. Not that that would be against the interest of the, shape-shifting reptilian bloodsuckers. They would like that. But the Russians and the Chinese, I don't know if they would play along. I think they may go to the three-ship solution anyway. And by the way, that would probably take out Canada and some areas south of the border. It's not that discreet.
It's going to be a hell of a power generator.
Well, but see, there you go. It doesn't work that way. It's just like this thing that we saw over the area of Norway. It takes gigawatts to get it started, but once it's rolling,
and they can propagate from that. I see.
Yeah, it's grounded out basically.
And this is something is showing up in November of 2010. That's big.
We've got a lot to go through before then, but yes, we have tipping points then. And a tipping point is very much like 9/11. Your life changes instantly and stays that way for a long time.
Yeah. All right. Eat those pies, folks. Enjoy.
Yeah, prepare and put away all the pie supplies you can if you get rough.
All right. Thanks, Clif. And again, for all you people in the military or law enforcement who are active duty, send Clif an email. Just write Gary McKinnon, McKinnon, in the subject line, and the address is moon@halfpasthuman.com. And don't forget
a free report. Yeah.
That's right, free report. Don't forget Shape of Things to Come, issue 3, available now, $10. Thank you, my friend. Take care. Talk soon.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Mr. Clif High. Okay, we'll be back in just a few minutes.